Hey folks, my name is Damith Tennakoon and this is my EECS 1011 major project. So for this project, I tried to think in terms of the themes covered in class and I thought automation was a cool subject to focus on. I decided to create a robotic arm that is able to both manually and automatically pick up and move objects. You might have seen these types of robotic arms in a factory working alongside a conveyor belt to repeat mundane tasks like picking up an object and placing it into a box. The purpose of this project for me was to be able to automate doing mundane tasks. For example, we can apply this concept to doing something like picking up unused batteries and organizing them into a box. Instead of me having to pick up each individual battery and placing it into a box, I can replace that with my robotic arm, which will pick up the batteries and repeat this task of placing it to a specified location. In a nutshell, it alleviates these repetitive tasks that we may need to do on a daily basis. My approach to building this project was using servo motors, an Arduino, MATLAB, and 3D printing. Servo motors are geared motors that are able to rotate to a specified angle using Arduino commands. I use this to create the rotation points of the arms. I use MATLAB to program my Arduino to repeat a set of specified servo motions. This allowed the servos to move one after the other to repeat the task of picking up an object. I powered this entire project using a 7.4 volt 6200 milliamp LiPo battery. Now, LiPo batteries are great because they have a high power output with a long battery life. To design the arms and the structure of the robot, I used a CAD program called Fusion 360, which is great for designing three-dimensional objects. I started off by figuring out how many arms the robot needed, as well as drawing out the directions that I wanted the arms to move in. Once this was done, it was time to move on to computer designing. Using Fusion 360, I was able to design all these components. Then I moved on to the coolest part of the project, 3D printing these components. To 3D print these components, I exported the 3D designs as STL files and used Cura, which is a program that enables you to control the settings of your printer. After this, I printed the components and then assembled them together. Programming was done using MATLAB, where I wrote commands to write the servo angles to follow a set of specified actions. So that meant lowering the arms, opening the claws, turning, dropping the object, and then finally returning to the initial position. Once this was done, what was left was to wire the circuit and power the systems. I used jumper wires and a small breadboard to connect all the electronics to their specified inputs. I also programmed a potentiometer to manually control the positions of the robotic arm depending on the input voltage that was read through the analog pins. That was my major project. I hope you guys found this interesting. I hope you learned something. Thank you so much for watching.